I'm Jessica, and welcome to Reality Check. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode where I check off your list with Perfect Match episodes 2 and 3. All right, I am really liking this season so far. I think it's really well done. I think the cast is great. I am loving what I am seeing so far. I think it's well done. I think it's a good show. I definitely think there are some flaws. I think there's some things that they need to iron out. Like when the bombshells come in, I wish they were in there longer. I don't think they come in for too long of a time. They're only in there, they come in for a date and they go into the villa and they're there for a few hours maybe, and then they leave. And I don't think it's enough time to really just shake things up. And we've seen Rachel come in, but all the other bombshells have come and left. So I wish, to me, they got to figure that piece out. Because, you look at the bombshells on Love Island, they come in, they really shake things up. They're obviously given the opportunity to be in the house for an extended period of time, obviously making a connection. And the whole goal of a bombshell is to ruffle feathers, is to shake the whole house up. And I just don't feel like that is necessarily possible on this show, given they're only there for a few hours, especially too, right at the beginning of this season, we see Freddie and Madison go on a date, and then he goes on another date with Rachel. But then, I do think Madison manipulated him with her tears, but they go back together because he's like, I feel like we have a connection, and I don't think it's been long enough. Same thing with Clayton and Juliette. After her date with Carrington, she basically, we were like, okay, who's she going to choose? Is it going to be Carrington? Is it going to be Cody? Is it going to be Clayton? Obviously, it wasn't going to be Cody, but they wanted us to believe that it was like this triangle. She went back to Clayton and was like, look, I just feel like we haven't had enough time, so let's see where this goes. Which honestly was kind of shocking to me because I did not think that she was into Clayton whatsoever. Honestly, I didn't. I actually genuinely thought she was going to pick Carrington. But then I was like, this is the problem. I knew that Rachel was coming on the show. We've seen clips, right? I knew she was coming on the show and she was going to interact with Clayton. So I was like, if she chooses Carrington, then how is the Clayton and Rachel meetup going to happen, because he's off the show? So I had that in the back of my mind when watching. I know on this show you can come back, but I actually don't know if the OGs can come back. That might just be the bombshells. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, I'm relearning as I go. I've watched this show in the past, but I just feel like it's been so long since I've watched this season. I kind of forget how things work. It kind of just lost a little bit of the excitement for me because, again, I knew Clayton, I knew he was going to stay somehow because I knew he was going to interact with Rachel. So that kind of got it away from me. And to be honest with you, I also feel like, knowing how things have worked with AD and Ollie, it's yes, we're watching their love story unfold, but regardless of maybe seeing them get in an argument, seeing them disagree on something, if a bombshell comes in, we know the outcome. So that also kind of takes away from, I guess, being not on the edge of our seats, but you know what I mean? Just being oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Is Ollie gonna choose this bombshell, or are they gonna end it? It kind of takes that away because we know what the end result is. They are engaged and they're expecting a child at this current point in time. So I don't know. I think obviously the show has allowed them to be so public with their relationship, and I'm assuming it's because they met on the show, and you can't hide the fact that you're pregnant, obviously, right? And they could have maybe hid the fact that they're engaged. They do it on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette every single season. This show has some flaws, like I did say, but I also think there are some really just great aspects to the show that I'm enjoying. And I really do think that they did an amazing job casting. I think they got some really good people on the show, and I'm enjoying it. So let's get into the recap. So rewind. And I mean, honestly, what is there to say about Carrington and Juliette's date? We already know the outcome. I thought they were actually going to end up with each other that night. It looked like they had a really good time, but again, I don't know, for whatever reason, Juliette wanted to be with Clayton, and that's what happened. But I do feel like this isn't the last time we see Carrington. I feel like he will come back on the show. They'll bring him back as a bombshell. At least he'll be on the screen in the boardroom where they have to kind of pick and choose. But I feel like he'll be back. Like, I don't think this is the last time that we've seen him. Madison and Freddie go on the date. So we know from episode 1 that Madison chose herself to go on the date with Freddie, leaving her and Cody's relationship behind. And I said in the last episode, like, rightfully so, I don't know who wouldn't choose to go on a date with Freddie. I'm sorry. He's very, very attractive. And then you have the whole UK, the English accent. Like, I'm very here for it. And he's just honestly just a genuinely nice guy. Like, he really seems like such a sweetheart. And she said it at one point. He was made by a woman. Like, he just has everything I feel like so many women want in a guy. And I get why she chose him. I really do. I honestly, too, I'm obsessed with his energy. I just think he brings the good vibes. He is so positive. I mean, yes, he has his funeral dead jokes here and there that I think he's playing up a little bit. It's a little much for me, but I don't know. He can do no wrong in my eyes. Cody was so bitter though about them going on the date. Like, at one point he's like, well, obviously she's not my perfect match. Like, we're done. And I was kind of just like, why are you so bitter? You've literally known Madison. Has it even been 24 hours at this point? Like, I don't know, maybe he just felt like he was embarrassed because he's, one of the only guy at that point that their date, their match went out on a date and left them behind. But then again, like, Cody, you've known her for literally 24 hours and this is the point to the show. I don't even think it was 24 hours. Like, didn't that all happen in the same day? So he needs to calm down a little bit. Like, it's fine. And obviously he's probably like, when Freddie comes in, he looks at him, he's like, I'm done. Like, and I mean, he really smelt like desperation that evening, trying to partner up with people. And I just think he was like turning people off. And again, it all goes back to like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Why was he first cast? I don't understand. But yeah, he was just giving desperation, trying to get Juliette's vote. And I mean, he was definitely done with Madison. The other thing too, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Madison had so much anger towards him in her confessionals. Like, she would speak so negatively of him, and like, she was like, you disgust me. And remember, she was like talking about his bad breath and really just saying really bad things about him and kind of like things that would embarrass him. I don't know. I don't know why she is so angry. And think about it too. Like, those confessionals are filmed after the fact. I mean, I don't know if they're filmed while they're filming and, maybe it's like that same day, a few days later, or if it's filmed completely after the show. But regardless, whatever happened, she is so angry about it. I don't know if you guys noticed that, like, in her confessionals, there was just such negative energy towards him. And I was like, what did he do to you? Like, just move on with Freddie and just enjoy. So I don't know. I if there's a reunion, I'd be curious to know kind of like what went down, if anything went down, because that negative energy just doesn't come from like, him trying to be just desperate. And did he say something? Did he do something? Like, I don't know. So anyways, that night they find out that 2 men are leaving. And again, like I said, Carrington leaves and Cody leaves. I wasn't surprised with Cody whatsoever. Like, I knew Madison was going to choose Freddie. Why wouldn't she? But I was surprised with Carrington. I kind of was on the edge of my seat a little bit. A little bit, because I knew Clayton was going to stay in some capacity, but I was like, is he going to couple up with someone else? Like, is he going to leave and then is he going to come back? Because I knew that he was going to interact with Rachel. Like, him and Rachel were kind of like the big people of the show because they're exes and they had the rose ceremony from hell and they have this massive back history with each other. So I was surprised about Juliette and Clayton, but I was also kind of happy because I have been rooting for Clayton given kind of everything that he's been through. The only switch up of the matches is Madison and Freddie. Everyone else is same matches from the previous episode. AD and Ollie are going real strong. And I don't know, like, I feel like it's kind of a little too strong, too fast. Like, are they on this like high? We kind of saw them have a disagreement in this episode with the boardroom, which I will get into shortly, but I don't know. They're so strong, so fast, and Ollie seems very all in. AD seems extremely all in. Actually, Ollie seems all in until like a really hot bombshell is in the picture, because that's what we see in this episode, and that's kind of where, you know, we see a little crack in their relationship. Again, like, it's hard to watch them it's hard to watch them knowing now that we know that they've been engaged. So regardless of kind of like the hardships and the disagreements and the arguments that they go through on the show, we know that they're now engaged, expecting a child. So it's weird. It's weird to watch it knowing, like, it's nice, it's cool to watch their love story, but it's weird to watch it from the perspective of like, okay, I need to forget that they're engaged because I want to actually, you know, pick apart what's going on, and is this good? Is this bad? Is this awkward? What is this at that current point in time? Let's fast forward now to the challenge. I mean, we learned a lot in this challenge. Well, we learned a lot. I just think Clayton's too emotional, and I do agree with Juliette where it's like, where's your fun side? Like, his answers, like, they're like, oh, like, what would you call your, what, the name of your body part down there? And Clayton's answer was safe and secure. Like, and then you have all the other guys, like, having these hilarious answers, and it's just like, Clayton, like, how are you matching up in a lineup with all these other guys that are really just having fun with it? You're showing their fun side, and you're just saying safe and secure. Like, it's giving boring. And even when they were like, oh, like, what's the meal that you would cook your girl or whatever, he would steak and eggs. Steak and eggs? I'm sorry, but if I'm going over to someone's home for dinner, or if they're coming over and they're like, I'm gonna cook, and if they whipped out steak and eggs, I would not be happy. Like, yeah, I love a good steak, but steak and eggs doesn't scream romantic. I loved Freddie's answer. Pasta and wine and music. Like, okay, Freddie, again, written by a woman. Like, what girl doesn't like pasta? We all love pasta, some wine, love it. So anyways, I just thought Clayton was honestly killing me with his answers, because again, this all goes back to him on The Bachelor. I don't remember seeing this fun, playful side with him. And I feel like, especially after everything that he's gone through, I feel like he's just gotten even more deep and just has a lot of depth to him. And I mean, you're on Perfect Match. This is where we should see you have fun and be playful and just really just kind of like silly, you know? I don't know if he maybe has that side to him, but he also was kind of like, I'm this emotional man, and I want these girls to see that I am an emotional man. So I'm just going to go through this challenge showing them my like emotional side, and that I'm in tune with my like emotional intelligence and all that, because that's kind of what he preaches. Like, I'm very emotionally aware, I'm emotionally intelligent. Like, he preaches that all the time. So anyways, I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. I wrote down some of the answers from everyone. And I mean, like I said, like, okay, also too, Freddie's abs during this challenge. I'm like, wow. Wow. Okay, one of the questions that was asked to the guys was something along the lines of like, what would you tell a girl on a date or something like that? And Ollie's answer literally was, you'll do. And then Freddie's answer was, I like you better than my ex. Okay, guys, these are like the massive red flags if I've ever seen one. You'll do? Like, what? Oh my God. My big question for this challenge is like, how did they go into it? Did they go into it being like, okay, I want to win, and so I'm going to try and match up with my partner, even if I don't agree with it, even if that doesn't resonate with me, even if I would choose another one on the board, I'm going to search for, think of, what would my partner say because I want to win? Or did they go in the challenge just being like, I'm literally going to say whichever one resonates with me because F the challenge, I just want to say whatever resonates with me because that's kind of what I'm doing. I feel like people played this both ways, honestly. Like, I think AD especially went into this being like, I want to win. And so she definitely tried to suss out all of Ollie's answers. But I feel like Louis, he said it. He's like, I didn't really care. I just kind of went into it and I just chose whatever it resonated with me, whichever one that I agreed with whichever one that I liked the most. That's what I chose. So again, like, I think, yes, if you want to go in the boardroom, you have to be strategic. And that's exactly what AD and Ollie is doing. They're definitely playing the game. And we see that when they go in the boardroom because they won. AD got like 4 out of 5 right. She carried the team. Ollie only got 2 matches with AD. They go into the boardroom and we see the 4 girls. I knew 2 out of the 4 girls. I obviously knew Rachel. And I had a feeling that she was going to be in that boardroom because I just had a feeling she was going to be there early on because, again, like, I knew her and Clayton were going to have some sort of interaction. So it made sense that she was in the show earlier on. And I obviously knew Alex. If you watched Temptation Island, you knew that she was one of the girls that actually, yes, did have the threesome with Brianne. So those 2 girls, I knew they ended up coming inside the house. But first of all, Rachel and Freddie, I love that pairing. Like, I actually love the pairing. And I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit to episode 3, but seeing them not match up, I was kind of disappointed. Like, I did not expect her and Clayton to match up whatsoever. I was completely taken aback. I was shocked. I really did think that she was going to match up with Freddie because, I don't know, I was very into them. I think they look great together. The only thing I would say is I think they're both passive people, and I think Freddie maybe needs someone like on the fiery side. So like a Madison. I mean, Madison is fiery. Do I think Madison is the right girl for Freddie? No, but I do think he needs kind of like that spice in the fiery side because, I mean, I love Rachel, but I do think she is very similar to Freddie in the sense of like she's more passive, and we kind of saw that on the date, right? They're more very just, they talk low, and they're very similar. And I think he needs someone that can kind of keep him on his toes. I also thought what was very interesting is the whole AD and Ollie and QT and Alex kind of situation in that boardroom, because obviously AD wanted, number one, she says that she knew QT. So obviously she wanted her friend in the house. That was very obvious. But Ollie was very obsessed with putting Louis on a date. Whether he wanted to put him on a date because that's his friend, whether he wanted to put him on a date because Louis asked him to put him on a date, don't know. But what I thought was interesting is like he was so adamant on putting Louis and Alex on a date. He was like, that's his type to a T. 100% that's his type. He would be super happy with Alex. Like, I'm not budging. It needs to be Alex. And AD's kind of sussing it out because she's like, do you want her in the house because that's your type, because you find her attractive, because you want to meet her? So that was kind of interesting because now, you know, obviously we know what happens between them, but we're kind of seeing a little bit of a disagreement in their relationship. And I mean, it's kind of interesting to see him be like, oh yeah, I really want Alex paired up with Louis. Like, I think they would be such a good match. Like, he was so adamant on it and he wasn't letting up. But it's like, are you letting up because, you know, Louis is this best a friend of yours and you really are looking out for him and you care who his match is? Or are you, you know, trying to think about yourself and you want Alex, who is a very, very good looking girl, you want her in the house because you want to meet her in person, you want to feel out the vibes. And honestly, I think that's exactly what it was. So that was interesting. And I'm going to be honest with you, I did not think Ollie was going to win that battle. I really didn't. I was really surprised in the next episode when we saw Alex go on the date with Louis. I was shocked. Like, I was like, wait, AD lost this battle. I was really surprised. But I mean, I think too, like, Ollie also kind of looked at it from the point of view of, if anyone's going to shake up this house or try to shake up the house, it is Alex. I think the problem though, like I said to my point in the beginning, is these bombshells come in for such a short period of time. Like, they should be in the villa for at least 24 hours. They're in there, it looks like, for less than 12. And if we're taking into account them in the actual house, it's got to be less than 6, unless they're filming until 6 in the morning, you know? So I don't think there is enough time for them to shake up the house at all because they're already comfortable in their relationships. Why would they kind of match up, like go out of their way to match up with someone else if they are still feeling the relationship that they're with? Like, there's not really any sort of incentive. And again, that's kind of one of the things that I think they have to solve for, because if you do want this big shakeup, well, let these people stay in the villa for longer. They don't need to match up with anyone. They can do the challenges without being in a partner. Like, you can change the challenges so that it's not necessarily like dependent solely on your partner. Like, they have to figure it out, because they can't shake things up by bringing someone in for literally 12 hours. There's just no way, right? Madison is so upset that Freddie is going on a date with Rachel. And come on, Madison. Like, you've literally now known Freddie for 24 hours. You are crying. You are bawling. And I'm sorry, she manipulated him with her tears. 100%. She knows that he is a genuinely nice guy. She knows that he is going to feel bad if she brings out the tears. And I think that's exactly what happened, because I honestly thought that Freddie was going to pair up with Rachel. I really did. And honestly, it just now goes back to the Madison that we knew, that we saw on Love is Blind. Remember, she was manipulating Alex at the time. And that's kind of what she's doing here. She's manipulating Freddie with her tears in order for him to choose her over Rachel. And that's exactly what she did, and she got her way. So, you know, I think we're seeing a little bit of the toxicity of Madison in this episode that we knew on Love is Blind. And we'll see, you know, is Madison and Freddie going to stay with each other for the duration of the show? Honestly, my instinct is no, but Freddie's a nice guy. So unless someone really pulls Madison, her eyes away from Freddie, I don't know if I see Freddie kind of jumping away from her, because he is such a genuinely nice guy. But we'll see. Time will tell, right? Got lots more episodes to watch. So the guys have the power tonight. There's 2 girls leaving. They're able to decide who they match up with tonight. And let's get into Clayton and Rachel, because I was completely shocked. Absolutely just shocked that these two, after all of these years, after the rose ceremony from hell, after everything that she'd been through, like, yes, I understand that time apart, like, time heals. I totally understand. But to kind of get back into it in a public setting, like Perfect Match, shocked me. Because if they wanted to maybe rekindle anything, he said it on the show, they crossed paths about a year ago. They kind of patched things up and they got in a really good spot. Like, if they really thought that they had something going on that they could rekindle, if they really thought that prior to the show, why did they need this show to actually rekindle that? And so, you know, I'm shocked because I didn't necessarily buy that this was going to be a real thing. I really didn't. Like, I feel like Rachel has done, and obviously Clayton too, he's been through so much, but I mean, Rachel seems like such a different person from when she was on Clayton's show, from when she was on The Bachelor. You know, she got engaged as the Bachelorette, and that relationship ended very quickly. It ended after the final rose. So by the time she got engaged and it broke off was at least 2 months, actually maximum 2 months. So she's been through a lot, you know, and when you go through things, you change as a person, you grow, you know, the older you get, you grow, you get wiser, all these things. So I just was so shocked that she was willing to try this again in a public setting. Like, if they wanted to try it behind closed doors and see where it had gone, okay, fine. You know, you're not having to deal with the public. Like, God forbid something bad were to happen and it wouldn't have worked out. Well, now you have to deal with, you know, the public's opinion in addition to kind of your feelings. Like, if you got your heart broken again, like, there's just so many things that you have to deal with now again and relive those feelings. So I was shocked. I honestly was. I mean, I really liked seeing them together. Like, I did genuinely think that they had a super strong connection on his season. Like, it was very clear that Rachel wanted to be with Clayton on his season. Like, that was never questioned. She wasn't there for the wrong reasons. Like, Rachel truly was there to marry him. So yeah, like, to bring all that back, I can't even imagine kind of like what she was thinking, how she was feeling. What I also thought was interesting though is Ollie and AD, I guess, had no idea that Clayton and Rachel were on each other's season. Like, you know, AD was like, oh, she's from Bachelor Nation, so they, you know, they'll love kind of seeing each other, or, oh, can you imagine if his face when he sees her? But like, they didn't know that they were on each other's show and she was a part of the rose ceremony from hell. Like, I find that so funny that, first of all, the people that don't watch The Bachelor didn't know who either of them were. But then also, in addition, the people that did know they were from The Bachelor had no idea that Rachel was the girl on Clayton's season. I'm like, where are the reality TV fans on the show, honestly? Because all of us watching know how crazy this is. And Ollie was said to Clayton, he's like, bro, I had no idea. I had no idea that was the girl that you've been telling me about. Because even Clayton, like, he's like, that's the girl. Like, I've told you about, like, the mess of my season. That is one of the girls that the mess happened to. So I thought that was kind of funny, honestly. And I mean, as we see Clayton and Rachel talking, we can see that they definitely have a connection. There definitely is chemistry. Like, that is undeniable. I think all of us can see that, right? And I don't know, like, it seems that both of them kind of were like, you know, they went into the conversation that they had of, what if? What if we got engaged 3 years ago? What if you didn't go back to Susie? What if we ended up together? Like, where would our lives be now? And I get it. Everyone has kind of that person, the one that got away. I totally understand. For them to kind of have this, you know, silver platter, let's just say, of an opportunity. I mean, I kind of respect that they took the opportunity, but I also am just really surprised that Rachel did, especially because I just know that Rachel has been through so much and probably had to overcome so much from that season. And for Clayton to be so strongly against them matching, like, he's like, I think we should match. I think we should match. I feel like we have this opportunity that, like, you know, it's fate. Why we're both here. Like, someone wants us to try it out again. And yeah, I don't know. I think my instinct is it's not going to go over well. That's what I think. And I don't know at whose end. I feel like it's got to be Clayton that fumbles. It's got to be, because, again, I just feel like Rachel is really genuine in trying this out and seeing it. Like, she wouldn't have put herself out there and partnered with Clayton in order to just not, I mean, also too, like, is she pairing up with him because that was the only change she had to get inside the house? Maybe, but I also feel like it's kind of like, at what cost? Like, why would Rachel have done that? Why would Rachel have partnered up with Clayton out of all people? It's kind of like, oh, if this is my only option, I'm going to kind of take, you know, the high road and leave. But I don't know. We'll see. I really did genuinely think they wanted to try something. Whether or not that works, let the show play out. Let the show play out. We will see. I'm sure it all happened on the show, because I don't know. I don't think it's going to end well. I really don't. So the two girls that end up leaving that night are Alex, unfortunately, because I really thought Alex was going to be able to shake things up. If she was going to shake things up, obviously it would have been with Louis. And I'm going to be honest, I thought Alex and Louis were really good together. I honestly think Alex is the girl for Louis on this show. Like, I just think Louis doesn't want to be serious with anyone at all. You know, we saw him out with Huda. So obviously we know nothing really between Sandy and Louis works out, but I don't really see him and Sandy at all. And again, like, I was surprised that he went back to Sandy, because I kind of was on the edge of my seat of like, okay, Alex is here. Definitely he's attracted to her, and that is definitely his type. And I mean, I just feel like, even though I like Sandy, I just feel like she's kind of boring on this show right now, because I'm not really seeing them do that much anyways. Like, they're kind of just there, honestly. Like, yeah, Louis, he's not the star of the show. Freddie is definitely the star of the show. But Louis definitely has a lot of airtime. But I feel like anytime that I see Sandy and Louis, like, it's kind of just like they're super chill. I don't know. I don't see it between them. I definitely saw it between him and Alex. So I was surprised. I was really surprised that him and Alex didn't pair up with each other. Maybe we'll see Alex again come back. But again, it just goes to show that Alex, like, the bombshells, they need a little bit more time in the villa in order to shake things up, in order to have more conversations, whatever, you know, really test things out. So then we also see Juliette leave. Again, not surprised there, because we knew over the course of the episode that Clayton really wanted to pair up with Rachel. It was more a matter of like, is Rachel going to partner up with Clayton? And they do. So Juliette leaves, you know, she doesn't leave kind of without a fight. She tells Clayton that he's an ass and he always will be, which, I mean, fair, you know, I understand where Juliette was coming from, because she's like, bro, like, you've had the opportunity to rekindle things for 3 years with Rachel, and now you're choosing to rekindle things on this show. And like, she gave Clayton an extra, like, an opportunity. Like, Clayton, the previous episode, he was on the chopping block, and I thought that she probably wasn't going to choose Clayton, but she did. And she kind of, you know, gave him a shot and a chance, and was like, we haven't really gotten to get to know each other that much. Let's kind of explore and let's see what kind of happens. And then the next day, Clayton's like, nope, I'm going to partner up with Rachel. So I definitely can see where Juliette was coming from, but I also just, I don't think anyone really wanted to be with her, honestly. And so I'm not that surprised that she was one of the girls gone. So we then see them doing the kissing challenge. And I mean, look, we see this challenge on Love Island. I don't think, though, it's kind of different on Love Island. Actually, maybe not. They have blindfolds and headphones. I don't know if they had headphones on Love Island, but I'm like, can't you tell who you're kissing, like, to some sort of degree? Like, when Lucy was kissing Ollie and Daniel, and she chose Ollie as, like, her number one kiss, I'm like, can't you feel the beard? Can't you feel that that's not Daniel? Like, Daniel doesn't really have that much facial hair. I don't know, but maybe it's kind of like when your senses are totally gone, like when you have your hearing removed, when you have your sight removed, you just kind of lose all senses and you forget, what a beard feels like. I don't know. But needless to say, I was really surprised at kind of the end result. Like, obviously I knew that AD and Ollie were going to know each other and know who each other were when they were kissing. And majority of the cast did rate their pairing as the highest, like they matched that. But we see that Sandy and Clayton both ranked each other as a 10. And I think in the effort of the show to try and spark new relationships and to go outside of your couple, this was their way of saying, okay, even though we have other matches, and even though that we have the other matches scored each other as 10s, we're going to send Clayton and Sandy on the date because we need non-matches to kind of explore. Do I think that's going to work out? No, I don't see it at all. Like, I think Sandy was like really taken aback. Like, wait, I have to go on a date with Clayton now? But I mean, Clayton was happy. He was super into it. And again, this is kind of where I'm like, I don't know. I think there's going to be some sort of downfall, some sort of downward spiral where it's like this poor guy. This poor girl, i.e. Rachel, gave this guy the chance. Now he's going on a date. She's probably not happy. And I don't know. We're going to have to see it all play out. That's kind of where this episode ends. And so next episode, we'll see them go on the date. We'll see what happens. And I'm curious. I'm curious to know, let's just say Clayton is like, oh yeah, Sandy, that I really enjoyed our kiss. I enjoyed our date. Like, I want to pursue you. Oh my gosh, that is going to be very awkward. This season is honestly really good. I'm really enjoying it so far. And I've watched the other Perfect Match seasons, but I don't remember enjoying them that much. But maybe it's just because it was a while ago. So I'm enjoying it, thoroughly enjoying it. And so I'll be back before you know it to recap probably the remaining batches, like episodes 4, 5, and 6, because Netflix has already dropped more batches. Like, there's already 7, 8, 9 out. So I gotta get going. I gotta get on with it. But I do like recapping shorter episodes at a time because I can get more detailed with it. And that's what I want to do. So I'm going to do it. So that'll do it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Please rate, subscribe, review, do all of the things. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at yourrealitycheck.pod. And I cannot wait to chat with you in the next episode. Bye.